So hello friends, once again welcome back in our video series of C programming by TechBooster. So guys, in this video we are going to learn one of the most important topics for any of our programming languages, and that is our conditional statement. So what do you mean by conditional statement? If I talk about our practical life here, even in our life we have to take many decisions, and based on our decision we used to get our output. Similarly, in our programming language we have our conditions. We'll have to face certain conditions. If our conditions are satisfied, certain statements will get executed. For example, here in this case, if I consider this one to be your college, so this is my college, and if I consider this one to be your office, and if I consider this point to be your room, so now this is your route, or this is your track, either to go to your college or to go to your office. Now whenever you want to go to either college or office, you will have to follow this particular route. So here in this case, suppose if you want to go to your college, first of all you will have to follow this particular track, and whenever you reach this point here, you will have to take a decision that whether you need to go towards left or you need to go towards right. If you follow your left route, you will go to your college, and if you follow your right route, you will go to your office. So this is nothing but our condition. If my first condition is satisfied, then I will reach my college, and if my second condition is satisfied, then I will reach my office. This is our conditional statement, and here in this case I have two conditions. Similarly, if I talk about our C programming language, there are a few conditional statements. First one is our if statement. We will specially be using this if statement considering only one condition. Then we have our if else statement. This is specially used when we have two conditions. Then we have our if else if statement. This is mainly used when we have more than two statements. Then again we have nested if statement and switch statement. We'll be discussing this nested if and switch in our later videos. As of now, in this video, we'll mainly focus on our if statement, if else statement, and if else if statement. Now let us move forward and check out the syntax, how to use these particular statements. So first one is our if statement. Here you can see whenever we have only one condition, we'll follow this particular syntax. So how to use it? So here in this case you can see this is my if, and along with if we have my condition. Here in this case, if my condition is satisfied, then we'll have our statement within this curly bracket, and if this condition is satisfied, then this statement will get executed. If this condition is not satisfied, then this statement will not get executed, and if you have any other statement outside this curly bracket, that particular statement will get executed. This is our if statement. Second, considering my if else statement, you can see this is my syntax, and this is specially used when I have two conditions. So here you can see, first of all, I will be writing my condition with my if. Here in this case, if my condition is satisfied, then my statement 1 will get executed. If my condition is satisfied, then my statement 1 will get executed, that I have within this curly bracket. If my condition is not satisfied, then I have my else. Then the statement that you will write within this else will get executed. Very carefully this one. Whenever your condition is not satisfied, then the statement that you will write within this else will get executed. This is the case when you have two conditions. Now if we have more than two conditions, so this is your syntax. Here in this case I have considered three conditions. So here first of all, with my if I have my condition 1. If my condition 1 is satisfied, then my statement 1 will get executed. If my condition 1 is not satisfied, then I have my condition 2 with else if. This is my else if. With my else if I have my condition 2. If my condition 1 is not satisfied, my condition 2 is satisfied, then statement 2 will get executed. If neither of my conditions are satisfied, like my condition 1 is also not satisfied, even my condition 2 is not satisfied, then the statements that you will write within this else will get executed. So this is the case for three conditions. If you have more than three conditions, like if you have four conditions, in that case you need to write another else if where you need to consider your condition 3, and similar is the case for your 5th, 6th or more conditions. So guys, now we will be discussing all these conditions considering an example. So here you can see I have considered 2 examples here. My first example is find whether an entered number is even or odd. So here basically we will write a C program where we will allow our users to enter a number, and then we will check out whether that particular number is even or odd. So let me open my code block here. So this is my code block, and let me create a new file. Let me save this one. Let me save it using conditional statement. Let me zoom this one. First of all, as always, we'll start with our header file stdio.h. Then I will have my main function. Now, first of all, we need to consider a user input. So here, let me consider an integer a, and here, first of all, I will use my printf function so that I can display a message, enter any number. Now, in order to consider your user input, I need to use my scanf function. Now here in this case, as I have considered an integer, so I will have to consider %d, then my address operator and my variable a. Now once you have this particular value, now here in this case we'll have to check out our remainder. Like we'll have to check out whether whenever we divide a number by 2, if our remainder is 0, then we'll consider it as an even number, and if our remainder is not 0, in that case we'll consider it as an odd number. So let me consider another variable here. Let me consider variable b, and here in this case b is equal to a. This is my modulus operator 2. Now here I will have my remainder stored in b. Now comes our condition. So first of all, you have to decide how many conditions will you have here. Here in this case we will have 2 conditions. First of all, if my remainder is 0, entered number is your even. If my remainder is not 0, entered number is odd. So my first condition will be if, then within this parenthesis I will have my condition, if b is equal to 0. So this is my condition. If b is equals to 0, then here I will use my curly bracket. Here I will print f the number %d is even. Here in place of %d I will display a. Then if your entered number is not even, or if your remainder is not 0, then we will satisfy our else statement. Here I will just copy this particular statement and I will paste it here. The entered number is odd. So I am done. Now I will use the return 0. So this is our program. So now once you run this program, you will have your output. Now let me just build and run this one. Here I have to enter any number. So let me enter 10, and we know 10 is an even number. So once you press enter, you can see the number 10 is even. Now let me once again run this one and consider any odd number. And here in this case, if I consider 5 and once I press enter, you can see the number 5 is odd. So this is our first example, and I hope your first example is clear. So here basically what we have done, we have considered a user input, then we have considered our modulus operator, and we have stored our remainder in a variable b. Then we have checked whether the remainder is 0 or not. If a remainder is 0, then we'll print the number is even. If a remainder is not 0, then we'll print our number is odd. And this is our condition. So with this, let us move forward towards our second assignment. So this is my second example. Find the greatest of 3 numbers. So here in this case, what we'll have to do, we'll have to consider 3 numbers, or we'll have to allow our users to enter 3 different numbers, and then our program will find out the greatest number among the 3. So now let us once again open our code block and try out our example 2. So here first of all I will create another file and I'll save it. I'll save it as assignment 2. Okay, so as always we'll be starting with our header file. Include stdio.h, then we'll have our main function. Now here we'll start our program. So first of all we'll have to consider 3 inputs from our user. So here all my inputs will be integer. So let me consider a, b, c. These are my 3 variables. Now here I'll use my printf function to display message. So here my message will be enter 3 numbers. Now we'll have to consider our scanf function. So here as all my variables are integer, so I'll be using %d, 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 then and a, comma, and b, comma, and c. Now here I have my inputs. Now here in this case I will have to check how many conditions we'll be having here. Here basically I will be having 3 conditions. In my first condition I will check my variable a with b and c. I'll check whether a is greater than b and also a is greater than c. If my first condition is satisfied, I'll display a is the greatest number. In my second condition, I'll check out my b with a and c. If my second condition is satisfied, I'll display b is my greatest number, and if neither of my conditions are satisfied, then I'll display c is my greatest number. So how to write it? I'll start with my if, and here my first condition will be if a greater than b and a greater than c. Here I am using this logical operator AND. Here what do you mean by AND? That both of my condition needs to be satisfied, and then my statement will get executed. Here what I will print f the greatest number is %d, comma a. Here in case if your if a is equal to b, in that case what will you display? So better to write a greater than equal to a greater than equal to c. So here if you enter your inputs as same, even then our condition will be satisfied. Now this is my first condition. In my second condition what I will use is else if b greater than equal to a and b greater than equal to c. If this condition is satisfied, here in this case I will display, I'll just copy this particular line and I will display the greatest number is b. Now if neither of these 2 conditions are satisfied, then obviously what will display? C is the greatest number. So I'll have my else, and here I'll just display the greatest number is C. Finally we'll have our return type. Now once done, if you run this particular program, here we'll have to enter 3 different numbers. Let my first number be 10, enter, then 12, enter, 5. So here basically my answer should be the greatest number is 12. Once you press enter, you can see the greatest number is 12. Similarly, if you run this program once again, and here in this case if I enter my first number as 5, my second number is 5, and my third number is 2, and if you press enter, you can see the greatest number is 5. So this is the way how you need to solve your examples, and I hope now your conditional statement is clear. So with this I'll be winding this video here, but now it's your turn. You need to practice each and everything. So guys, take care, bye bye, and we'll see you in my next video.